It's mock draft time here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews, and 5.0, man, we are in the month of the draft. How excited are you? I'm getting pumped up every single day we get closer. Man, I am just ready for Roger Goodell to get on that stage and hear those bells chime because I want to see who the Chiefs pick. And if you want to see more draft coverage, well then, hit that subscribe button because we got the latest Chiefs draft news all right in here. And if you want to know why, well, guess what? Latest Chiefs draft news, like I just mentioned. We have in-depth scouting reports on all the draft targets. And when they actually do draft, either these people or somebody else, we're going to have full reports on them, positional rankings. Plus, like you're watching right now, we're getting weekly mock drafts out to you. And obviously, it's all 100% free. So hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. You're not going to regret it. Trade alert right off the bat. I'm making a move because the Chiefs need to move up in the first round in my mind because there's somebody that I want and I'm going to have my way and go after him. Brett Veach, you should do the same. Here is what I concocted in the lab. The Chiefs swap first round picks with the Green Bay Packers, receiving the Packers' 25th overall pick in round one. And the Packers receiving the number 32 pick from the Chiefs and the number 95 pick in the 2024 third round. And then the Chiefs getting a fourth round pick in return in 2025. Again, stockpiling those draft picks next year, I think is definitely an important thing to have as the cap space is going to become a lot thinner in 2025. And so with that number 25 pick, I got my guy, A.D. Mitchell. It's very similar to the athletic mock draft we showed you just a couple days ago, but I think A.D. is the obvious choice, and that's why I wanted to put my rendition on this because this is the first choice that I think everybody would like and would agree with. And maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm talking to people and they're looking at this right now and thinking, who hired this guy? I'd be asking the same question. Do you like my trade in round one? Type Y for yes if you think that the Chiefs should do this and go after A.D. Mitchell. Type in for no if you think that was a stupid trade and the Chiefs should not trade up in round one. A.D. Mitchell is by far the best receiver that the Chiefs could get. I mean, obviously, if they wanted to make a huge move, there's a potential Brian Thomas Jr. falls to like maybe 20. But are you really going to kind of risk a lot of picks to go up 12 spots? I don't think so. AD, you're going up 8 spots, 7 spots to go get him. I mean, this is a very simple trade that you can make. Like I said, there's multiple ways you could go about it too. Not just having the one way like I did where you're getting a round 4 pick. You could do a bunch of different things. Guy was great at Texas this past year when playing with the Longhorns. 845 yards, 11 touchdowns. And this guy was a very, very key threat in the corner of the end zone. Obviously played at Georgia in his time before UT and played in a lot of playoff games. Played in 5 career college football playoff games. Every single one of those games caught a touchdown. I've been a big fan of AD for a while. I mean, you know, if you've watched this channel, I was talking about Adonai in September. Now we're here, and I want them to trade up for him because at the time, it was going to be a lot of different things. I know that Xavier Worthy was the talk of the town, and there was a talk of potentially having him, but then Marquise Brown was signed. You don't really need Xavier Worthy anymore, in my opinion. I think that there was probably a 3 or 4 day span where I thought Xavier Worthy overtook A.D. Mitchell, and that was going to be the Chiefs pick at 32. That was going to happen. And then Marquise Brown came into the picture, and I truly believe he kind of took that slot because he is a speedy receiver and is, to me, the same guy as Xavier Worthy, just a little bit more talented in terms of pass catching. So that's why I think you're not getting Xavier. Trade up for AD. He fits a very, very key spot. Let's go to round 2 where you get the tackle you are needing. This is definitely the best need after wide receiver for me and the most important one. You go Blake Fisher. It's a guy that I've mentioned a couple times here on the Chiefs Report. Never actually had him in a mock draft, though, so I want to make sure we included him here. I think round 2, pick 64 is a really good slot to place him in. This past year at Notre Dame, he was a menace. 71.1 overall PFF grade, really, really solid. Only allowed 3 hits, only allowed 3 sacks allowed. 9 hurries is not bad. 5 penalties is not exactly that much at all. Obviously, this would be right tackle, not at left tackle, but there's a couple of different ways you could kind of spin this. And I think you have to understand, in the NFL, people get moved around a lot. You talk about the Titans draft pick last year, Jack Skronsky, or Peter Skronsky. He was moved from his original position to guard. Well, guess what? That happens when you get drafted. And so Blake Fisher, I truly do think he could easily move over to right tackle if that's what they want. But also, I trust that Jawan Taylor could also move over to right tackle. There's a lot of ways you could move over on this offensive line. But right now, Wanya Morris is that starter on left tackle, which is why I think you need a tackle. Now, how do you arrange that? Do you go get an official right tackle? I don't know. I mean, in my mind, given you're talking about NFL caliber talent, you take the best tackle available. I don't care if you played right or left in college. If the best tackle available is left, great. But I don't think that it really necessarily matters. You can really change your direction within a couple months. It would just take a little bit of training. And I truly do feel like the Chiefs offensive line coach is one of the better ones in the league. And talk about the way he's been able to develop Joe Tooney, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey. There's a lot of guys on this line that I think are really, really appreciative of him. Wanya Morris, I want to mention him real quick because he is the starter at left tackle. And I'm curious to see how trusted they are going to be in Wanya. Now, I know that last year he was the starter. He was the starter for a couple games after Donovan Smith was injured. Played decent in the Packers game. That was the main one. I remember him as that was his first career start in the NFL. Coming out of Oklahoma, he has a lot of positive things, but I don't know if they're wanting to go with a guy who was a later round draft pick as their starting left tackle just a year after he was drafted. That's kind of my mindset on this whole thing is let's go out, let's get a tackle. And Blake Fisher, again, if he is potentially could play, just wants to play right tackle, maybe you just move Jawan Taylor over to left. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can make that work. And again, in my mind, you're taking the best tackle available. It doesn't matter if it's right or left, especially in the NFL. You can move them around. Now we go to round 4. Obviously, the round 3 pick was traded. I'm going Braelon Allen, a guy that you've probably seen on my drafts before, and that's because I think he is a very, very good fit. I want to fill out the running back room. I know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire re-signing was a great thing to have, but I don't know, again, that I want LaMichael P. Ryan being number 3. And in my mind, given they re-signed Clyde, they have a plan in place to get a running back. I think they have a mindset on a running back in the draft. Is it Braelon Allen? That's where I don't know. I know they talked to him. I know they took to Bucky Irving. I know Dylan Johnson's I mentioned. He's more of a later round pick. Braelon Allen, to me, is the better suited choice just because he kind of gives the yin to the yang with Isaiah Pacheco, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire can be that number 3 receiving back. That's the way I kind of see this working out. Braelon Allen this past year, just shy of 1,000 yards. That would have been his 3rd year in a row had he done it. But he did have 12 touchdowns, which matched his career high in college for a season, plus 132 receiving yards. So his receiving threat is certainly still there. I'm not going to say it's anything to the extent of what Mr. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's is, but still, he is a very different change of pace back to Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco's that hard nose, I'm going to run right into you, I'm going to run right over you. Braelon Allen is shifty. He's going to get around you. He's going to make sure that the tackler is not going to get a hand on him. And he had 1,000 yards in back-to-back years at Wisconsin, which I know people are going to talk about it. To me, that's RB University. That's just the way I think about it. You think about the people that have come out of here, most notably Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that's a big one, most notably. That guy is really, really freaking good. And Braelon fits the vibe. Round 4, pick 2, not bad. So there's my first 3 picks. Adonai Mitchell, Blake Fisher, Braelon Allen. I want you to grade my first 3 picks in mock draft 5.0, A, B, C, D, or F. I want you to be the judge and let me know down in the comments section. If you're looking for some more Chiefs gear, well, guess what? We got you covered because if you go to chatsports.com/KCPolo, you're going to get 40% off this awesome Chiefs polo. And it looks a lot like an Andy Reid polo to me. It looks like something that Andy Reid would come out here. The floral design, you know Andy Reid, he loves his flowers. So you want to look like Big Red, guess what? They've got all types of sizes. It's 40% off, and it's something you can wear to anywhere. You're going out, you're going to look nice, and you're going to be able to support your 2-time back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Hopefully going to be 3-peat champions here in just a little bit. So once again, chatsports.com/KCPolo. We're going to put that in the link. We're going to put that link in the comments and the description of this video. So if you're looking for more Chiefs gear, I know I am. Go down there and hit that link. Let's go to round 5 with the first one in round 5. Chiefs having 2. this is where they get the tight end. And I wanted Ben Sinnott, I will say that, but I think the more important portion of this draft was tackle. And so after that, go running back now, Theo Johnson, a guy who they did meet with, by the way, at the NFL Combine. It fits well. The Chiefs love to have 4 tight ends on their roster. And currently, the 3 guys that I would expect to be on the actual 53-man roster, well, guess what? Like I said, 3. Kelsey, Gray, Irv Smith. Garrett Prince and Isaiah Gathings, both of them I expect to be practice squad guys. They want to carry 4 for the entire year. You get Theo Johnson, here's your 4th. Blake Bell, a free agent, probably not re-signing. Here's your 4th. I think that's a very clear one that you go out and you get, and you say, all right, there's our tight end room. We got somebody that's pretty young in free agency, and Irv Smith Jr., who's just now 25, and Theo Johnson, you're getting out of a draft. Pretty well versed at Penn State University, 300 yards in back-to-back years. He can block, he can receive, and the number that I look at that really makes him stand out to me, his touchdown numbers. They improved every year. 1 in 2021, 4 in 2022, 7 in 2023. He's improved every single year. I think he is very much a touchdown threat when you get close to the end zone, and that's honestly nice to have in terms of a two tight end set. And you have Noah Gray. There's a lot of different formations that you could use to confuse the defense. Theo Johnson, I think, would be a very, very great fit at round 5, pick 159. Let's go to round 5, pick 173, where you get a cornerback finally, and Kamal Hadden and the Tennessee Volunteer. I think you're getting great value because Kamal, he is projected in some ways to be a upper echelon 5th round pick, potentially even a 4th round pick. I got him at the latter part of the 5th round. That's pretty dang good value. Now, obviously, this comes after the L'Jarius Sneed trade. I know that L'Jarius Sneed was hard to be replaced, and it's not going to be replaced by Kamal, but it's somebody to have depth in. You trust Jalen Watson, you trust Joshua Williams, and this guy, pretty well. He had only 96 yards. That's pretty impressive. 12 completions on 33 attempts when he was targeted. Did only play 7 games this past year. 8 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and a QB rating of 7. Whoa! This guy is nice at round 5. I mean, you think of that. Look at these stats. You're like, okay, this guy can be molded. And we know that Brett Veach has a knock for getting some top-tier cornerbacks later on in the draft. 6 interceptions throughout his entire career. 1, 2, 3. Funny how that works. He improved every single year, just like Theo Johnson. I think that's the bigger thing. I know that's something that people don't look at, but if you're improving every single year, that really helps. 1 pass breakup in 2021, 3 in 2022, and then 8 in 2023. This guy is what I think would be a perfect guy to have on the depth chart and potentially be that 3rd-string cornerback in a way. Obviously, I think it's going to be one of those of you have McDuffie as the 1, you have Joshua Williams as the 2, and then you have Jalen Watson as like the 2.5. You bring in Kamal, you have him as the 3rd guy to go in the rotation. All right, if you like what you've seen so far, you think this draft is going well, you think that you agree with all my picks, hit that like button. And pretty easy to know if you'll like my mock drafts or not. So go down there and hit that like button because, again, I want your opinion. I want to know what y'all are thinking. So if you hit the like button, I know that you're enjoying it. All right, let's talk about my round 7 pick, and it's a steal. Joshua Cephus, the wide receiver out of UTSA. Watched him in person a couple times this year. This guy is an absolute, no pun intended, road runner. This guy's got speed. He can do a lot of different things, and he's a solid late-round wide receiver. He's speedy, he's agile, and he's going to be a really good fit for kind of like, in some ways, what the Chiefs wanted Cornell Powell to be. They put him on the practice squad and then was hoping he would break in. And every year they were like, all right, here's the year. And he never did. Maybe Joshua Cephus can do that. Past year at UTSA with the Road Runners, 1,151 yards, 10 touchdowns, and what do you know? Jace picking guys with low drop rates. Joshua Cephus, 1 drop. Yeah, I like that a lot. 89 receptions, 12.9 on the average. This is a solid guy. You're talking early 7th round, your last pick of the draft. You're getting a wide receiver, and obviously you could use some extra depth there. I think it overall would be a very, very good pick. In fact, PFF thought it was a great pick. They ranked that an A. So here's the grade for my draft. I got an A- for AD, C+ for Blake Fisher, B- for Braelon Allen, B for Theo Johnson, and back-to-back A's in round 5 and round 7. I really don't know how an A is possible in round 7 because I do think you're in some ways throwing throwing stuff up there, hoping it works, picking a name out of a hat. But hey, I like it. B+ overall. So let me know your thoughts on my mock draft here. I've got a pretty good one in my mind. I think I've gotten pretty darn recognizable of the Chiefs' needs after, being with them for a while. So, hey, that's what I'll say. We really do appreciate y'all watching. Hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and we will see you next time, Chiefs Kingdom.